Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Around the Water Cooler with NeDNR. Today it's me, Dehvynne.
And Alexa, hi.
And today we have Ryan Kelly from our Water Planning Division here to talk about the Robust Review. Now, Ryan, what is the Robust Review? Or no, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. I'm from the Water Planning Division of DNR, and I will address your question and talk about what the Robust Review is. So the Robust Review is done in the Upper Platte Basin, which is in western Nebraska, and it is a way for DNR to go in and evaluate water uses in our over-appropriated and some of our fully appropriated basins. So it's a way to kind of account for actions that NRDs have taken, transfers, things like that, and kind of get the holistic picture of what that all adds up to compared to the 1997 water condition.
So in a previous podcast, we talked about fully and over-appropriated basins being like a checking account, whether it's you're right even or you're taking out too much money or taking out too much water. So why is the Robust Review important for Nebraskans to know if they're using too much water?
Well, good question, because we don't want supply to dwindle and we have our demand be more than our supply. And if we want to make sure that we're able to keep going strong agriculturally throughout the entire state, it's important for us to have an account of where our water's at. This is important for folks who have been established water users within Nebraska for, generations in some cases. We want to make sure that we have enough supply for those folks. So that's kind of the reason why we want to have an accounting procedure done. There's a lot of modeling, a lot of calculations that go into it. So we need to know where we're at. We can't just kind of blindly wander.
I feel like blindly wandering when it comes to something as important as water is probably not wise.
You said that there's a lot of modeling and accounting that goes into it. How long does it take the Robust Review to get done? Is this like a pretty huge task to take on? Is there a lot of collaboration in figuring this out?
Yeah, so the need for the Robust Review is actually established in statute. It's a very involved process that involves a lot of different analyses, and it's a lot for the department to undertake because there's 5 NRDs that are involved in this. And we kind of have to agree between everybody that what we're comparing is apples to apples. So we have to get that information from those NRDs, where their certified acres have been located, so where the NRD has said you're allowed to pump and irrigate with using groundwater. There's a lot of analysis and it's a big undertaking. I think it's important to note that the Robust Review is very collaborative with those 5 NRDs that we've been talking about. So it's not just the state of Nebraska kind of over in a corner calculating their own kind of results. We're working very closely with the 5 NRDs and making sure that we are representing their data and checking it correctly. So that's super important, and I'd be remiss without saying it.
Okay, so it's a huge analysis with 5 NRDs on the western side of the state. What were the results?
Good question. One of the things that we have to look at in the Robust Review is conservation practices. So we've done a lot of research leading up to this Robust Review, and we've actually incorporated the results of the conservation practices and their savings on water within this Robust Review. So as of this Robust Review, 5 out of our 5 Western NRDs are at a neutral to positive condition compared to 1997 development. Why that's important is because that essentially means that we have mitigated those 1997 level depletions. That's the whole point of what we're doing. So that's huge. That's important. And what we need to do now is make sure moving forward, we put together enough stuff in place that we don't start to lose water again, that we maintain those accretions versus those depletions.
So, a neutral to positive checking account balance with the water as determined by the Robust Review. And you already kind of talked a little bit about the future, but what does the next Robust Review entail? Does it include incorporating more conservation practices, different kinds of analysis, or what's down the road?
So what's going into the next Robust Review is potentially more conservation measures, right? We have to get back together with those 5 NRDs, kind of say, okay, let's again talk about what's going to be apples to apples, but what's going to give us our final result? What is going to give us that analysis? What are we going to put into the analysis that tells us where we are versus that 1997 condition? There's obviously a minimum amount of things that you need to be able to do that. Water usage, crop area, crop types. So stuff like that will be incorporated no matter what, because we need that for the analysis. But there's also, yes, we could look at maybe how do cover crops work. We haven't started looking at that already, but that's another thing that we might be able to kind of chat with the NRDs about and say, hey, is this something that you want to measure the effects of the water balance of cover crops? So
To me, it sounds like you're comparing like an event from 1997. Can you talk more about that and why that's what you compare?
The reason we go back to that 1997 condition is because there were several interstate agreements that were made around a little bit later than that, but they all agreed basically that the 1997 level of development would be the milestone where some states would have to get back to. So as Alexa was talking about the checking account, essentially that was what was decided to, you're spending too much, go back to the level of spending that you had in 1997.
Okay. That makes sense. That's before you went broke.
Yeah.
Yep.
Credit card debt.
Yep, exactly. So we can't put interest rates on the water. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Okay, so if somebody is curious on the different analysis that was done or the different conservation practices, is there somewhere that somebody could look into this information or someone who they could contact?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're putting together the final report for the 2023 Robust Review. That's obviously, since it's a huge analysis, we want to be very transparent. So a lot of documentation, a lot of files are created, a lot of model files. We did some updating in this Robust Review versus the last one. So we are in the process of putting that together, and that will all be posted on our website. And I like to say that when we do post that, someone who has a USB drive can download all the information and then go out in the middle of the desert and be able to run their own Robust Review if they should they have the technical skills. So.
All right. Well, did you mention anybody that they can contact? Are you the best person to contact for this
For now,
kind of
yeah, I'd
information?
absolutely be the right person to contact. So my email is Ryan, RYAN.Kelly, Kelly, @Nebraska.gov, or you can reach me at 402-471-1080. I felt like I just left a voicemail. So.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Ryan, and break time's over.
Break time's over.